Hello and welcome to ExcelDashboardTemplates.com. This is Steve Equals True. Please visit my blog at ExcelDashboardTemplates.com so you're sure to learn the latest Excel tips, tricks, and techniques to make your dashboards really stand out. Alright, today we have a fan who sent in a request. Her name's Kathy, and Kathy had a lot of locations, about 21 different locations that she charted, and she wanted to know how could I make it look a little differently, and here's what it is. It's a sick leave chart. So these black lines, these represent the baseline of sick leave that each location has been using, and she wanted to know which locations are getting better on a week-by-week basis, trying to drive this as low as possible compared to the baseline. So what I've done is I've created the chart here, and I've got this green line here really shows that this one location has gone from sick days way above 6 down to just above 3 in the first pay period that they've tracked this. And you can see group 2 and group 3 are also going up. They're going the wrong way above the baseline. So down, green arrow is good, red arrow up is bad. And I'm going to show you how we go about making this chart. Okay, so here's the data. You've got the 21 different locations going along row 1. You've got the baseline set here at May 26th, and you've got each pay period, each 2-week period, and Kathy's going to put data in here, and would like the chart to change and be dynamic as well. So the first thing we need to do is we need to know when is the actual last data point compared to the baseline. So we don't want all these middle ones if August 4th is the most current one. So what we want to do is we've got down here this field, or this cell row, changes plus or minus to goal. So what we've done is we want to take B2, and let's go ahead and start this formula over so you can see how we build it from the start. And our value should be equal to 0.13. So what we want to do is we want to first do equal sign. We want to compare B2, and we want to subtract the last value in here. So how we're going to do that is with the offset formula. There's lots of tutorials on my blog about using the offset formula. And we want to start our reference. We're going to start our reference here in cell B2, and we're going to fix that so that it is always in row 2 of column B. And we want to know how many rows to go down, and here's where we want to count the number of rows that are actually numbers here. We want to fix that one as well, and end our count. Now we want to know how many columns to go over. We don't want to go over any columns, so we're going to put in a 0 there. Then we want to know the height. The height is going to be 1 because we want the last value. And we also want a width of 1 because we just want 1 column's worth of data. Now, I did miss one step in here on the count. Since this is going to count 2 and it's going to start as a reference of B2 and it's going to go down 2, we will actually be at a blank. So we need to subtract 1 from that so that we make sure we get the right number. I hit enter and look at that. We've got 0.13. That is the differential between these. If I add in 1.40, notice that that's 0.22, and if I come down and add 1.3, see that number keeps changing because it is getting a new reference here for our data. Delete those 2 values, and we can copy this over here in a minute. Then I'm going to create a chart area here down below our actual data, and this is how I'm going to create the chart. So first we need to create the location, and the location is just right there. Okay, so we've got our location locked in, and now what we want to do is we want to do the solid line. Well, since this is the baseline, this is really just equal to B2. Just click on that, and I'm going to put a $sign on the 2 so that we make sure we always have the row locked in as the number, as the row 2. Then I'm going to go down to the up arrow, straight line, and down arrow. Let's take a look at the straight line first here. Now, I've just put in this pretty simple formula here that says equals if B22, so B22 is the change. If the change is equal to 0, which means it hasn't changed, let's just put in a really small number. That's so that we'll have a data point there so that it's a number, but we're not going to really show it in our chart. If it is not equal to 0, then we're going to do the not applicable function, which is equal to this NA and two parentheses, ended and closed. That will put, I hit enter, you'll notice that in my spreadsheet range here, it displays as pound NA. You can look at this on my blog under the power of not applicable, or of NA, and Excel will not plot this, so that's the good thing about this. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the down arrow. So in the down arrow, I'm going to look at B22, which is the change, and if the change is less than 0, then I want to do the absolute value of B22. That's because I want to actually not show it as a negative, I want to show it as a real value, as a positive integer, so it shows up on the top part of my chart. And if it is not less than 0, then let's just put that NA in there again. Enter on that one. Now let's take a look at the up arrow. Up arrow is very similar. If B2, which is our change, is greater than 0, then use B22. Now you notice I don't have the absolute value here because it's already positive. I don't have to worry about that. And then I have it equal to NA if it is not greater than 0. Alright, so let's take a look at those different values. And so what it is if it's greater than 0, I want this to have a value. If it's less than 0, I want this to have a value. And I'm going to plot these as different series with an up arrow of red and a down arrow of green. Alright, so the last one we need to look at is a stacked column chart. So what you can see is these numbers right here, 1.62 and 1.49, the differential is 0.13. So in order to come up with that, I need to create a stacked part of a column equal to the differential between 1.62, and you'll notice our change in our goal here was equal to 0.13. So kind of simple, but we're just going to take our ultimate where we are right now, and that should be added to one of these three numbers down here, and that should equal our ultimate total. So I could have written this probably in a different way. I think I've made it a pretty complicated formula that says, let's take a look at it. It says if take B2 and subtract out. If B29 is a number, then let's go ahead and if it's greater than 0, let's put in B29. And then let's add in if it is a number in B31, and let's do, if that's greater than 0, then add in B31, else do 0. So it's a pretty complicated formula. I probably could have just went in and said, why don't we just show the most current with an offset formula, the actual value of the current change, and since those three will add up together, or if it's a down arrow, they should add up together. I could have done it differently. So, but let's take my complicated formula and we'll just copy this across. And we now have all of our series set up. And so let's go ahead and take a look at one of these. So this next one for location 2, you'll notice the down arrow has 0.27 in there because it is actually headed upwards. It's going above the baseline. It's not good for what they're looking for. So what we want to do is we want to now create our chart. We're going to highlight this chart area. We're going to highlight the whole range all the way over to X. We're going to go up to our insert menu. We're going to go to our column charts, and we're going to do a stacked column chart. Alright, so let's move this over here a little bit. Make it a little longer so it looks a little better. And let me move it down just a little bit more so that you can see it with some of the data. Okay. So now what we've got here is our stacked column chart. We've got several different lines. This blue line here is going to be our solid line. So we want to actually just go ahead and right click on this. There we go. And we want to do change series chart type. And we want to change this to a line, and we want to choose this one right here, line with markers. Let's click on that. You can now see all of the different lines with markers. I'll go ahead and then right click on that line, do format data series. We want to change our line color to no line. Let's click on close. And so we're kind of set up with how we want the chart to look. We just have to now change everything to some custom markers, which you can look at on my blog as well. So to do that, we're going to go up to our insert ribbon. From our insert ribbon, we're going to click on the shapes here. And there's this line shape right there, and I'm going to just draw this right into my spreadsheet. And then I'm going to right click on that shape and do Format Shape. And what I want to do is I want to make this pretty thick, so let's make it 3 points. And let's make sure the line color is a solid line of dark black. Let's click on Close. I'm actually going to make this a little tinier because I don't want it to be that wide. Oh, looks like I messed that up just a little bit. Let's make it a little tinier. Kind of hard sometimes to get these lines straight. There we go. Now we also want to insert some shapes here for, so we're going to go back to our insert ribbon, go to the shapes, we're going to go to these block arrows and just do an up arrow, and I'm going to click that there. I'm going to go to my format ribbon, and I'm going to change the shape fill to a green color, so we'll do, say, light green, and I want to do the shape outline to that same light green. Now I can just take this shape and copy it by doing Control-C, then hitting Control-V, and you notice it's made a copy of my green arrow that is up. And so we want to turn one of these arrows, why don't we do the first one? We're going to spin this down 180 degrees, and because we want that to be our actual green arrow, let's see if I can get it to do it. There we go. And then on this other arrow, I want to change the outline and fill to be a red color. So we're going to do, how about this red accent, shape outline of that same red accent. And now we have our shapes. So what we want to do is then click on any one of the shapes. We're going to start with the line and hit Control-C to copy. I'm going to come into my chart and I'm going to select these blue markers that we just created in the line chart, and I'm going to hit Control-V and paste them. Look at that, we now have our baselines on each one of the different parts of the chart. I'm going to come in and click on my green arrow and do Control-C, and I'm going to click on this green arrow right here and paste that, and then do this red one, Control-C, and this blue one right here, these tiny blue ones that you can kind of see. Those are actually the upper red arrows, so I'm going to do Control-V and paste that there. So, as you can now see, we have the red arrows in here. We have the down green arrows where values are actually good. We have our baselines. You can see where the reds just are kind of popping above some of those. We don't need to show our legend anymore, so I'm just going to click on the legend and hit my delete key. And there you have it. We kind of created this quick sick leave chart to show when a group is doing better by this downward green arrow, and when a group isn't doing so well with these red arrows that you can see here as well. So please sign up for my YouTube channel so that you're sure to get the next post delivered directly into your inbox. Thank you. Have a great day. And thank you, Kathy, for sending me this request and being such a great fan. Thank you.